Hello, and welcome to our Halloween special. I think, probably. Last night we ran a little bit of an event on the Pokemon server where I do my draft gameplay, and it was spooky time. Your limits were dark types, ghost types, and bug types. In about 5 minutes while I was at work doing training videos, I decided to throw this team together to compete, and you'll get to see how we did. First up, we got Takedown, the Hisuian Samurott, Choice Scarf, Sharpness, Ceaseless Edge, Sacred Sword, Flip Turn, Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace was specifically to deal with other Annihilapes. Speaking of which, your idol, the Annihilape. Leftovers, I've messed up and gave him Inner Focus instead of Defiant, but it's fine. HP and Attack, Rage Fist, Drain Fist, Bulk Up, Pursuit. Soda Pop, Incineroar, Safety Goggles with Intimidate, Parting Shot, Will-O-Wisp, Darkest Lariat, and Brick Break. Free, the Mega Pinsir. Obviously Moxie, Pincerite, Return, Knockoff, Bulldoze, Quick Attack with regular stats. What it sounds like, Dragapult with Choice Specs and Clear Body. I'm realizing I probably should have went through with Infiltrator, but you know what? Things happen. Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, and last up, Golden. Just a Goldango. Rocky Helmet, good as gold. Recovery, Nasty Plot. Shadow Ball, make it rain. So, like I said, there wasn't really a lot of thought put into this, so I'm not really going to go through and break it all down, but we got a bunch of games to watch. So, starting with round 1, Northern Electrodes, also known as Rolling. For context for this, though, the format was doubles, singles, and then if you're tied, you could do a game 3 in doubles again. I used the same team for both because I didn't notice that part. So, Incineroar and Annihilape versus Grimmsnarl and Venusaur. Got Mega Venusaur. And before you ask, it took us until round 3 to realize Mega Venusaur did not fall under the categories. Paralysis, Sludge Bomb, gets the poison, hits the Will-O-Wisp on Venusaur, and Bulk Up. Parting Shot on 2 Annihilate, switches into Mandibuzz, goes for Leech Seed. I hit Parting Shot on Venusaur, bounce out, go into Pinsir. And I got paralyzed. He goes into Muck, we go Mega, hit the Return, goes for Foul Play, hits a Bulk Up. Kind of weird to use Foul Play after lowering your opponent's attack, but it is what it is. Honestly, just a little bit of slower gameplay here, which is nice compared to the fast pace of Draft a lot. Goes for Roost. I hit the Drain Punch into that slot, so Roost was not the best idea there. That was annoying. Rage Fist into Muck, gets the KO. Venusaur and Grimmsnarl time. Thunderwave hits my bug. Leech Seed onto Annihilape. Drain Punch into Grimmsnarl. Doesn't do too much, and he gets the recover. Well, it did a decent amount, and then he recovered, but Dazzling Gleam hurts. Take out Grimmsnarl. Rage Fist the Gengar. And then it's Selgor versus my 2 guys. Goes Terra Water, Hidden Power, takes out Pinsir, and Drain Punch gets the crit and KOs the Excelgor. And that's game 1. Game 2 is the singles matchup. Starting with Incineroar versus Venusaur. Get the Intimidate. He goes for Mega, gets Leech Seed. I go for Will-O-Wisp. I miss. He goes for Sludge Bomb. I go for Will-O-Wisp. I miss. Goes for Sludge Bomb again. At this point, I'm frustrated and just go for the Parting Shot. Switch out into Pinsir. He goes for Mandibuzz. Gets the Mega. Clicks return, does little less than 50. Man, that foul play hits hard. Then we got Muck. Go into takedown. Sacred Sword does not do anywhere near enough. Drain Punch does way too much. Goldango. I got lucky on the predict there, so that was nice. He gets the knockoff, gets Rocky Helmet chip, takes off my Rocky Helmet, and then Terra Steel. Make it rain. We hit the recover. Go for another Make It Rain. Take out the Grimmsnarl with a crit. He goes for Hidden Power. Doesn't do enough. Go for Make It Rain. Take it out. I remember being in the call and pointing out to one of my friends that I understand his obsession with Goldango. Nihilape comes in, goes for the bulk up. Venusaur goes for a Leech Seed. And the recovery wars kind of start. Ooh, Nelly, he did a lot of damage there. So I was worried to go into Drain Punch at this point because of the Gengar's existence. So. And I end up getting proven correct. Because this Gengar was such a menace. It took me a second to realize this thing is Choice Scarfed. And it took a decent amount of my team to get there. The Darkest Lariat takes it out. And with that, round 1, we are 1-0. So, getting into round 2, we have the one who set up the tournament, Xylong. And a different looking team. I honestly forgot Sinistcha existed. So, let's see how it goes. Samurott and Incineroar versus Kleavor and Grimmsnarl. Intimidate goes off. We get that, no problem. He gets Reflect. I go for a Ceaseless Edge to get my own spikes. Stone Axe misses, luckily for me. And Parting Shot does what it do. He goes for Parting Shot, or they go for Parting Shot on Nihilape, go into Volcarona. I'm locked into Ceaseless Edge, so I'm just clicking that again to keep setting up my spikes. He's going to start rotating, gets Weavile out, takes some spikes damage. I go for the bulk up to neutralize that and get some defense. Fake out into Takedown and Tailwind. Not great, but Drain Punch does take out Weavile, which could have been a problem. Grimmsnarl back out. Protect on the Volcarona. Ceaseless Edge misses because of that. Spirit Break does a decent chunk. And Bulk Up does something. Fiery Dance does some damage. Ceaseless Edge sets up third layer spikes. Spirit Break just barely doesn't KO. And Drain Punch doesn't get enough. I remember that going differently. It's fine. Okay. Bring on Incineroar. Fiery Dance. And unfortunately, they double into the Annihilape, knowing how much of a threat that can be. So, we go Pinsir. Goes for a Rage Powder. Gets the Reflect up. I hit Return. And Brick Break. This is why it was very good that we had the safety goggles on. They were not expecting that. And I should have expected this. That's my own fault for not paying attention. Hospitality goes off, heals the Volcarona, goes for a Rage Powder, Shadow Ball takes it out, and I forgot you went first. Darkest Lariat takes out the Volcarona. Now we're just down to Kleavor and Annihilape. Kleavor gets taken out by the spikes, Annihilape takes a decent chunk, and a Shadow Ball takes out the rest. Next up, we got me versus Xylong in singles. So, we start Kleavor versus Samurott, the battle of the hazards. Go for water, hit the flip turn. I was really hoping for a KO there. Going to Goldango, goes for close combat, misses. Stone Axe unfortunately hits, but it dies to my Rocky Helmet. Went for bulk up on the Annihilate. I went for a nasty plot. Rage Fist unfortunately takes me out because I forgot to Terra. And Dragapult goes for Terra Fire, which was such a good idea that I did not think about. Whew. And here comes the Spiral. Went into Incineroar, the Defiant boost into the Drain Punch, and fixes all of the damage I had just managed to do. Return doesn't quite get there. So we go into Samurott again. Sacred Sword takes this out. Grimmsnarl. We go into our Annihilate. He gets Reflect. Bulk up. Go for the Spirit Break, which, not too big. Okay, so Annihilate is out, and now Samurott. And I miss. False Surrender. And I miss. Spirit Break. RNG is not always your friend. So, we move into game 3, which is back to being a doubles game. So, let's see how I do here. Annihilate and Volcarona lead versus Pinsir and Incineroar. Unfortunately, immediately getting the Defiant boost. Immediately went for Fire because they saw the Pinsir in front of them, which makes complete sense. Fiery Dance doesn't KO though. Drain Punch unfortunately did. So we go into Samurott. The flip turn does big damage. Go into my own Annihilate and return into their Annihilate to take it out. Fiery Dance unfortunately takes out my Mega Pinsir, but it's done its job. Go into Samurott and they have Grimmsnarl. Ceaseless Edge, we start getting our spikes up. Fiery Dance, that crit was big. I go for the bulk up, they get the Spirit Break, they take out my Annihilate. Without that crit, I don't think that happens that way. Goldango time. Ceaseless Edge takes out Volcarona. Make It Rain takes out Grimmsnarl. And that puts us at Weavile and Kleavor, both taking some chip here. I switch out into Dragapult. Goes for the knockoff. Doesn't get the KO, which is huge for me. And then he attacks into the wrong zone. Make It Rain goes off, and I nearly get a double KO. Now we know Sinistcha comes out. It's going to boost the Kleavor back up. Go for a Shadow Ball into it to take it out, and X-Scissor takes out Golden. Sacred Sword for the win, and that was round 2. Currently 2-0 with a 4-1 record. Oh, this one is gonna be a lot. Lag probably had the best team, just outright. It was insane. So we got Samurott and Incineroar versus an Incineroar and an Annihilate. Of course, another Defiant Annihilate. Saw those all day. I yet again lose Incineroar immediately to an Annihilate. This happens way too often. I don't like it. Okay, so return an Aerial Ace into the Annihilate, takes it out. I get hit with a Will-O-Wisp on Pinsir. So then it's Dragapult versus Incineroar, or with Incineroar. I go for the switch, knock off, hits the Light Clay off. Parting Shot goes onto my Annihilate. At this point, I think he had already seen my Annihilate wasn't Defiant. I went for Fighting because I misunderstood and thought Fighting matched up better against Ghost. I was incorrect, but that's fine. These things happen. Went for Bulk Up, which I did a lot. Dragon Darts hits. I get hit hard. I don't take out the Dragapult. Go into Samurott. Ceaseless Edge misses. My favorite. Yeah. Was not a fun time. Take out the Mega Gengar at least. Pinsir doesn't do much here. Gets KO'd. I almost get KO'd here. Their Dragapult versus an Incineroar versus my Goldango and Dragapult. Knockoff doesn't take me out, but barely. I lose my Rocky Helmet. King Gambit comes out, goes Terra Flying, Sucker Punches my Dragapult, and Goldango unfortunately can't get there. Little disappointing, but it happens. Then we go into game 2, which is going to start Annihilate versus Samurott. Goes for the substitute setup, and this is where I said I wish I had Infiltrator, because I think it interacts positively here. I don't remember. Go for the Samurott. He switches into Incineroar. I had already clicked Aerial Ace, hoping to get the kill. Switch back out to my Incineroar. Parting Shot hits. Goes back into Annihilate. Gets a substitute. I go for Will-O-Wisp and nothing. Drain Punch doesn't kill me, but I kind of wish it had. Lose my Annihilate immediately. Incineroar goes, healing it the last little bit. Terra Water, Ceaseless Edge, doesn't do enough. Drain Punch does a lot. And I miss. That was definitely the story of this, was me continuously missing. Go into Goldango. Hits the Will-O-Wisp. I get the good as gold. Go for a Make It Rain, and he survived. Dies to the Rocky Helmet, so at least I didn't get swept. Mega Gengar goes for Shadow Ball, takes out Goldango, and my last one up is the Mega Pinsir, which is not going to be able to get there, unfortunately. So, that was me versus Lag, which was a loss. So altogether, we're looking at 2-1 with a 4-3 record right now. All right, next up, we got Lag. Or, no, this is Lime. So Lime goes King Gambit, Sinista. I go Samurott and Annihilate. Immediately Terra Fighting. They go Terra Steel, Rage Powder, Ceaseless Edge, misses again. Drain Punch does a lot. Cowton Cleave does not do a lot, even with the crit here. 38, I don't think is noticeable here. That probably would have taken out without that, but, you know, things happen. Low Kick does a lot to Samurott, not enough, though. Sucker Punch does, unfortunately, take out my Samurott. Will-O-Wisp does a decent chunk here. Go for the Drain Punch, take out the King Gambit. Going into Pinsir, brings out their own Annihilate. I go Mega. Will-O-Wisp hits. Still gets the crit and the KO on the Annihilate. And Pursuit, I was kind of thinking he was going to switch out Dragapult here. Charge Bug comes out. That disappears. Go for that. Charge Bug is a tanky little thing, so gets up the light screen. I take more damage. Phantom Force hits Annihilate. Doesn't do crazy. Knockoff does decent. Takes away the Focus Sash. And went for a bulk up. Toxic failed because I'm burned on both ends. Goes into Gyarados. And this is where they discovered that I was running Inner Focus instead of Defiant. Gyarados exists. I get hit with a Phantom Force. Go for the return. Doesn't do enough. Pursuit takes out Dragonite, but I think I eat a Waterfall here. I should have went for Drain Punch on the Gyarados. So now we got Charger Bug and Dragapult versus Gyarados. And no, I completely misspoke. Wow. It's fine. Crunch takes out Dragapult. String Shot lowers my speed. This poor Pinsir was just getting abused. Brick Break finally takes out the Gyarados. Charger Bug is still alive. And we take it out with Pinsir. So, next up is the singles match versus Lime. Got Charger Bug versus Samurott to start, and I just went immediately for my Ceaseless Edge stuff. Gets the Toxic, annoying, misses the third Ceaseless. Rain Dance comes up, hits the third, gets my third spike. He goes for Volt Switch into Gyarados, who, because of flying, doesn't take damage here. I go into Dragapult. Mold Breaker hits. Dragon Dance. Next turn, Thunderbolt does a lot. Waterfall does not kill, though, which is good for us. Sinista comes out. I was locked into Thunderbolt at this point. Rain stops and switch up into Goldango, which was really lucky for me because he went for Strength Sap and I got that good as gold boost. Or defense, I should say. Immediately went for Shadow Ball, takes out Sinista. King Gambit comes out, Supreme Overlord. Only one thing has died, but we still go into Incineroar. Cowtown Cleave does not do a lot here. And Charger Bug comes out. Charger Bug barely doesn't die, gets hit with the burn, and then immediately dies. Gyarados comes out, no longer flying, so now it's taking that spikes damage. Takes out my Incineroar. Wow. Go back into Samurott, hit the Ceaseless Edge, take it out. Samurott goes down to 13 versus Dragapult. Yeah. This is definitely a Scarf Dragapult. Only way it's outspeeding here. Goes into Annihilate. That apparently had heavy-duty boots. Goes into Terra Steel. I went for Shadow Ball. Doesn't do a lot. Rage Fist takes me out. Goldango comes out. Gets a little bit of speed lowering. Goes Terra Steel. He goes for Rage Fist. Does over 50. And Make It Rain takes it out. Dragapult goes, misses the KO, and gets... I went for the recover here? Okay. Unfortunately, Light Screen was not enough to protect from the Shadow Ball. Then King Gambit comes out, Supreme Overlord with 5 this time, and the Citrus Berry. I go for the Make It Rain, doesn't do a lot. Goes for the Cleave, does a lot. And Annihilate comes out. And unfortunately, all it takes is one good Drain Punch. So, that was the end of the tournament. Just 4 rounds of Swiss. And based off of tiebreakers and differentials, I was able to pull out on top and get the W. Meaning, I am the spooky queen of the spooky woods. There's a lot of spooky happening here. But I don't know if I'll get this out earlier in the day or later in the day, but it is Halloween at the time of recording, so hope everyone has a fun and spooky time. Until we meet again, arrivederci.